go. Let's get started. Hope that you're excited because you should. Because remember, what we're going to talk about today is extremely important, and it's going to be the way that's going to dramatically change your business. What's up, YouTube? I hope that you are doing great as well in here. This is your host, Gabriel Julié. On today's episode of Marketing Commandos, I hope that you're pumped on learning the things that matters and that are going to change your business forever. Talking about this, today we're going to talk specifically on the highest paying skill in business. And it's not what you think. Most people will think, oh, it's actually, like cold calling. I can actually get better at closing. I can actually do those things, make a website, run traffic. That's none of those things. Those are components of a well-working machine, which I always recommend to have, but this is not the subject we're going to talk about today, which is very exciting. If you're excited, make sure that you stay until the end, though, because I got something very special for you. First, for those who may not know me, I'm your boy Gabriel Julié, and I'm the founder and CEO of Julihey Media and Julihey Productions. We focus on helping businesses and entrepreneurs get as many customers as they can possibly handle and make sure that they can sustain that level of activity until they want to cut it off. Because, hey, sometimes too many customers, that happens with one client of mine. Like, we cannot even have a discussion on the phone because they are so busy. And I promise you that. So, guys, that's our goal. That's what we do. That's the purpose that we got as a company. And make sure, guys, if you want to know the highest paying skills in business, what it is and how you can apply it for your business, make sure that you subscribe now, because we do this every single Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to talk about each week a different topic on online marketing, sales, business, on how you can improve your business and how you can 10x it. So if you're interested in this, subscribe to the YouTube channel, get that room on Clubhouse scheduled for every Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We get a new episode each week. Now, let's go right into the topic of today's episode. We're going to start on how every entrepreneur can triple their revenue in a few months. There is a process. There are things to understand, a concept to grasp, and things that you can apply to your business. But you got to understand those things first, because I can give you the process. The problem is that if you do not have the right foundation, if you do not have the right system set up in place, the system that I'm going to share with you is not going to work. So what you have to understand first is that if your business is built, and your business should be built on different revenue line. The thing is, if your business is solely built on energy, kind of like energy-based revenue, which means like, hey, I got a cold call, I got a prospect, which is totally cool. I'm doing that thing as well. The thing is, if you're only focusing on building your business that way, you're creating a machine that requires you to invest energy all the time. And that's great because it costs you nothing. The only problem with that is whenever you want to scale, the only way for you to do that is either to take more time out of your day, spend more energy, or to pay people to actually spend the energy for you. And sometimes we may think that's, you can spend your time elsewhere. You can maybe try to do some more profitable avenues and reach out new things with your business. But sometimes I know that you get stuck because you get all that prospecting to do and all those things that you got to deal with, all those customers you got to follow up. And that's great. That's better than nothing. The thing is, sometimes you maybe have to find a different avenue. And one of the best avenues, one of the best ways that you can take some real estate, and that's something that I'm going to share with you guys, that's really a lost art. That's something that really was lost during the last depression. So what I mean by that is that before 2008, before that time, people were really like doing like presentations, like seminars, things like we know them right now as webinars. But before 2008, there were like a lot of businesses were based on that. And they were public speakers and all those guys that were trying to sell people their solutions. And people were making like multiple 6-7 figures doing that because they knew how to sell to the masses. Selling to the masses is different than selling one-on-one, because whenever I'm selling one-on-one, I can identify what are your objections, what you are trying to get rid of, what is the thing, the pain point that you are having. I can do that. The thing is, whenever I'm trying to sell to multiple people, I cannot do that. I have to handle specific objections and I have to understand my audience beforehand. So there is much more homework to do. But the advantage of that is that whenever you are able to actually understand how to do it, you can actually do something pretty interesting, which is the time I was talking about, the problem of time investment. If you're able to spend the time that you will be able to spend with 1 or 2 customers, and you can actually make a presentation that you present to, I would say, like, let's say 1,000 people, and you close only 10% of them, which is really possible. If you only close 10% of the people, which means you will close 100 people in that situation, in the same amount of time that you will be able to present to 2 or 3 customers, maybe. If I could share with you a way to do that, how would you guys be interested? Because that's really the thing that can happen if you are able to public speak, to sell one to many. Now, the good news is that today we don't really have to be physically presenting from stage, and that's even more, like, even truer. I don't know if that's a real word, but that's even more relevant because of the whole COVID crisis that we had, and pretty much every event started to go from, okay, physical event to online events. So that's even more relevant. And people are making mad money with that. Those are really the big money-making events, guys, because whenever you are able to take that short amount of time, compress, and you are able to present to multiple people at a time, all of a sudden, and you can even make some automations to make the process easier for you and less time consuming, it can bring you more money and way more time. And way more money, by the way. So that's extremely important that you grasp that concept of one-to-many selling first. And another thing I want to talk about is that people actually often say, like, hey, like, I like the concept, Gabriel, but I'm not really that good at getting on camera. I'm not really good at, making live videos like you and things like this. And I'm with you, and I understand. Like, and I'm going to ask you something. If you have like 5 minutes after this live episode, go check out my YouTube channel and find out the first video I did, and then crack a laugh, go back and see what happened since then. The thing is, you gotta understand that whenever I started out making like live videos, even like just making videos, first you gotta understand that English is not my first language. So okay, that's a bit of a leap to do. I was in high school studying to create all that content because I knew that I really related to the English to American like way of thinking, that way of thinking that you can be better, that you can find like that you can be more than what you are right now, and really connected with that purpose, that thing. And the problem was that in my environment, I'm not saying that in France is the case specifically, but specifically in my environment, I didn't found that. So all of a sudden, because I kind of knew how to talk English a bit, I attached it to, I'm going to make content in English because that's going to prep the way, my way out for me to be able to, like go live in the US in an English speaking country, so I can actually live the life that I really want. And so I started to publish content. Now, the problem was that whenever I started to make content, I wasn't that good, first. And second, like, you gotta understand that specifically in France, like, not a lot of people know how to properly talk English. Maybe in my class, like, on 30 people, like, like I guess like for you guys like that are living out in other country, maybe it's a bit different for you, but in class, like in high school, we have like classes of maybe 30 people max, and in those 30 people, maybe you got like 4 people that have good grades in English, like for real, that really know how to talk English. But in those 4 people, maybe 1, maximum 2 actually know how to have a conversation. The other 2 just are just good at getting grades, but they don't really know how to carry a conversation. So I was one of those guys. But the reason like that I'm telling you this story is because I was laughed at every single day when I was going to school. I was like laughed at. What the fuck are you doing there? What is that all about? What are you trying to do? People are talking while behind my back. I knew it, but the thing is, I kept creating content. And to be honest, for 1-2 years, I really sucked. I wasn't as eloquent. I wasn't as at ease with the camera and all those things. But the thing is, after some time, I really realized that, man, it's just about like fucking practicing. And the fact that those people were talking to me badly, saying things to me, mean things to me, and that fueled me up, and that really powered me up to make sure that I was able to deliver the content I wanted to deliver to you guys. And I wanted to do that. So the thing is, I used this as fueled, and ultimately I was able to get like to understand more my niche, understand more how I can serve my people, and ultimately I was able to, publish content on a daily basis and do things like that without being like, oh, I'm gonna make a webinar, I gotta make a presentation, I gotta make a live video. Now I'm just like, okay, let's roll. But the thing is, at the beginning, you gotta understand it was really difficult for me. Anybody can do it, and even if I don't seem to be an introvert, I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm an introvert, but for some amount of time in my life, I was really timid and shy, because I don't believe there are such things as introvert. I think it's a choice that you are making in order to live the life you want to live it. But the thing is, if you started as somebody that's shy or that's not comfortable with a camera, don't worry. Nobody, like neither you of us, me or you are like born with a freaking camera on our faces. So that's just an habit to take on. Oh, Gabriel, I don't have enough muscles. Like, this seems difficult. Yes, at first, after a few years of working out, you're like, damn, those gains, Same thing with a camera. In the beginning, oh, man, I feel uncomfortable. Oh, my videos suck. Okay, keep doing it for 1 or 2 years, and I guarantee you that you will see the results, and you will be like, oh, damn, I'm glad I did this choice, because it opened me a whole new area of things that I can do right now. So don't scare away of doing those things, grabbing those opportunities, not being scared of being the face of the company because you are scared of going to camera, because you can overcome it. Like, if you are here listening to this video, watching this video, or listening to this podcast, you went through a lot of things and you survived them. So you gotta understand that whatever things that came at you, like bad things, you were able to handle them. And that's exactly going to be the same thing here. So don't make a big deal of it. I guarantee you will be able to overcome it. I promise you. Now, guys, another thing that you gotta understand, if you really want to make sure that you bring that revenue. By the way, if you guys like this, if you do like this, make sure that you share the podcast with somebody that's interested in growing their businesses, because there is another thing I want to talk to you guys about, is that the fact that I hear a lot of people like, okay, I believe I can do it. I believe that this is the way for me to actually grow my business. Now, one thing I don't know how to do is how to run traffic. I don't want to pay for traffic, and I may be able to make the effort to make a webinar presentation, but I don't know how to like get people on watching my thing. I get it. And that's the thing that happened to most of us. At the beginning, you just gotta commit, and you just gotta do it again and again and again. And to be honest, guys, one thing that happened really recently, I would say since, well, February now, so maybe 2 months ago, one of the things that I really realized was the way I was making content wrong. I wasn't making content the right way at the right frequency. I wasn't making it the right proper way to get enough people to see me and, to get to the next level of my business. And I didn't grasp the thing that, how can I make it work? How can I make sure I reach out people and I actually solve their problems? And how can I do that in a consistent way? I wasn't able to find a solution until I really understood, after some time of publishing content, and what was the right method on, okay, what's the right frequency? What's the right format that I need to use? How can I make sure I make as much of those working pieces of content in as less of a time as possible? And what that epiphany, that discovery helped me to do is actually, guys, I think my channel has been up for 4 years now, maybe 5, close on 5. In 2-3 years, like I did like something along the lines of like 4,000 views maximum, like I think it's 3,800, like not a lot, What's funny is that whenever I started posting the way I'm posting right now in January, now I just like basically in like a month or 2, I doubled the views that took me like years to get. But right now, if I check the stats, I think I've got like maybe around like more than maybe 10,000 views or around the things like that. So it took me like 1 or 2 months to actually like do double the amount of view that took me like 2-3 years before that to do. Just to tell you guys that there are 3 ways to create content, to run traffic. Creating content is one of them. You can build relationship with other people, going on other people's stages, podcasts, promoting your products. Those are 3 ways to run traffic. You can also run ads, but don't use it as an excuse to not make your business grow, because you can do it. You can truly do it. You just got to make sure that you commit, and you got to make sure that you try to understand how it works. But you can definitely do it. Do you guys like what I just shared with you? If you do, make sure that you share the stream with somebody that's interested. We're going to go into the next section. We're really deep into that one because I wanted to make sure that you guys understand where I'm coming from and also how you can apply it to your life, because I don't really care that you guys know my story. What I really care is that you take action. So that's why I really want to make sure that you guys dive deep into, okay, I get it. I'm with you, Gabriel. I can do that. No problem. So in order for you to make sure that you apply what we're going to do, I'm going to show you question and answer and questions that I see a lot of times, man. Sometimes our French come back and it's like, man, what's that word? I'm going to share with you questions and answers I gathered around creating and how to make a perfect presentation that's going to be perfect for you to grow your business. I'm going to share with you those questions and answers right now. Question number one that I oftentimes see: why should I use online presentation for my business? And I see that a lot of people asking that question for a specific reason, because sometimes they feel like they're selling a product or that business is not suitable for making online presentation. Like, let's say you sell, we got Precious in the chat here on Clubhouse. Let's say you sell cars. How can you freaking make presentations like webinar about cars? Man, like how can you do that? Well, you got to understand that like all businesses can use a type of presentation, a webinar. You just got to understand how you craft the offer around it. That's the main thing, because if you try to make a webinar on the car, you can do that. Actually, you can gather a few people and make a webinar to sell, okay, this is a great car for the people that are in this webinar, to specific audience that you targeted. But the thing is, if you want to make sure you get great conversions, you got to make the offer sexy. You got to make it stand out. So it's not just a car. It's a car plus all the things that you're adding up to make sure the value is incredible and you can increase the price. But that's more like offer creating. But the thing is, every business can create a presentation online. It's just about the way you think about it and how you position yourself on how you are able to do it. But it's just making a sales presentation to multiple people at a time. That's as simple as this. Second question I oftentimes see: I don't like to show my face online. What should I do? Man, practice. That's the best tip I got for you. You gotta practice. I see a lot of people getting timid and shy on showing their faces online because they don't know, they don't feel comfortable. They're like, oh, what's that thing? What's that lens I gotta talk to? Like, that's something that you gotta figure out. You figured out how to ride a bike. You figured out how to walk before that. The thing is, you're still alive and you were able to figure it out. And that's exactly the same thing. That's just another skill to figure out. And if you're scared that people are going to laugh at you and criticize you, let me tell you something. The best part of online marketing is that, or if you're trying to market your business, is at the beginning, nobody is going to see your thing. That's the truth. At the beginning, nobody is going to see the thing that you're creating, the podcast, the YouTube videos, the Instagram post, because you're not good enough to getting that reach at the beginning. And that's why that's the best moment to actually practice and keep being better and better. That's the best way to do that. So don't be scared about starting to post. Don't be scared. Third question I oftentimes see: how can I drive traffic to my webinar? Okay, I got a presentation scheduled, Gabriel. How would you advise me to put as many people in as possible? What I would advise you to do, if you have multiple options. You either can go with affiliations, you can go with ads, you can go with content as well. One of the ways I would do it is I would actually try to reach out to as many people in my industry, other people that are targeting the same audience as I do, go on their podcast, provide some value to their audiences, and actually say, hey guys, we have this event coming up in X amount of time. Make sure that you register. It's 100% free. Then that's how I would get traffic to that presentation. Do you guys like what I just shared with you? If so, make sure that you share the live stream with somebody that needs to hear this to grow their businesses. Make sure that you do that, because we ain't finished. We got more things to talk about. And talking about more things to talk about, next thing that we are actually going to talk about are 3 quick and easy ways to make more sales in less time. How can you make sure that you can make more sales in less time? Well, there are multiple ways that you can do, either to get more traffic to your funnels, or what you can also do is actually using different ways to sell that will bring you more customers. And we're going to talk about both options right now in this list. Number one, go on other people's stages. So that's a way you can drive traffic to presentations, sales funnels, or actually only drive traffic to your business if you want to do online, like just one-on-one presentations. That's another way to do that. But going on other people's stages is basically being able to present yourself as a leader, as somebody that has a solution to a specific problem at hand that will help you, put you in position to help people to actually, making sure they realize that you will be able to help them out. So that's extremely important to go on there. And also, one thing that I recommend you guys whenever you do those things is whenever you go on other people's stages, make sure that you provide value. Don't be a jerk that's just here to take the attention. Make sure that before that, you create a relationship and you're really trying to see how you can help that person that's putting you on their stage before actually going on their stages. That's extremely important to understand first. Second tip, ways that you can use is to set up an online sales funnel. And I don't know why, but I see a lot of companies like going over this and be like, yeah, okay, like maybe one day, but you're missing a huge amount of business. If you're not having a sales funnel set up of being able to drive people to some places using, like, let's say you use the previous tip and you drive the people that you're talking to on stage to a sales funnel. All that traffic that you will be able to get if you set up the funnel correctly is going to bring you a ton of conversions, a ton of names, a ton of people to follow up. And that's really the way that you can grow your business in a lesser amount of time. Because whenever you are able to get all that traffic and make sure that it converts, you get the information, and you have a way to reach out to them, you can have that prospect and actually make sure that you can make that money in lesser amount of time. So make sure that you set up a sales funnel. That's extremely, extremely important. Third thing that I would recommend you guys to do is make webinar presentations, make sales presentation, or even seminars, physical seminars, but make one-to-many selling a priority in your business. And some of you guys may be like, man, I'm in e-commerce. I sell cars. I sell, I don't know, AC units. How can I make webinar presentations? I guarantee you that you can give me all the industries that you guys got, and I can craft you a webinar presentation, like a seminar presentation. You can do it. It's just a way to sell. That's just another format. The thing is, the format doesn't mean it doesn't work for you. It will work for any businesses. Trust me. It works for every businesses. People already use that to sell soap. And I know businesses that are doing like things like I've heard of a business that sold like trips to hunt Bigfoots for like $4,000, and they're doing freaking good. So guys, there are no excuses. Like people are doing businesses like babysitting, even like you can create a freaking webinar presentations on babysitting. The thing is, a webinar presentation is really the format of destroying all the people's false beliefs, kind of do a sales presentation one-to-many and being able to generate a sale from that. That's really what it is. And you can do that with any products because, well, it works for every product or any services. So you have no excuses. The way that I would say it is that you should do is but try to look at a way you can implement one-to-many selling as an opportunity to your businesses. Because I see so many entrepreneurs starting out and they are like, yeah, cold calling, outreaching, which is excellent. You should be doing that. But also, one of the ways that you could actually grow faster is setting up those funnels, those presentations aside of that, so you can drive more sales at one time and grow your business faster. That's the way I would do it. Now, bonus tip, because you guys know that I like to share with you some dope tips. You gotta understand that you guys need to always remember that your positioning is key to your success, especially whenever you are doing one-to-many selling. Because one of the things that's happening is that a lot of us, I would say 99% of businesses, they really have just an improvement offer, which means they are trying to get better than like the other person, which means they are selling a commodity. Let's take a car for example. I'm an online buyer. I'm looking at buying a car. What's going to happen is that I'm going to look at, okay, because it's a commodity, I'm just going to go on the website that's going to be the cheapest. And whenever you are doing that, you're going to a race to the bottom. And the thing is, if you're not able to be like the Walmart of your industry and basically being the first really profitable business that's working number one by being the lowest priced, there is no strategic advantage. You got to be the highest priced in the situation. If you're not able to be Walmart in your industry, you gotta be the highest priced. But how can you price your products? Like, how can you price your product higher if you sell the same thing? Well, you got to craft offers that attract people. And one of the things that you got to understand is that to craft those offers, you really have to understand first your position. So what do I mean by positioning? What happens is that there are three core desires, three core markets: wealth, health, and relationships. And in those markets, there are subcategories. Let's say in wealth, you got, okay, real estate, online marketing. In relationships, you got like dating, you got hanging out with friends, things like that. Or any health, you got like losing weight, well, like working out, bodybuilding, and all the things like that. And in those niches, there are sub niches as well. Like, let's say in online marketing, you got sales funnels, Facebook ads, and you can go even deeper and deeper than that, sub niches even. Like, the thing is, if you're trying to go into an area, let's say you are like selling cars, okay, and you are going into the core desire of I'm going to sell cars through the relationship ways. Okay, you're selling cars to have like family happy and all that, so you can enjoy time with your family. The problem is that this is like a really overused market. The ocean is already red. People are already using that sales message, so that doesn't work. So the thing is, what you should do is that you should niche down your positioning and really have a unique angle. You are talking to your audience so they can see that your opportunity is different. This is a new opportunity rather than okay, they are just trying to get it better than X. This is just a better thing. Whenever you come with something that's totally different in front of other people, they realize that how this is interesting. This is interesting. I never because they don't have the limitations, the false beliefs about, okay, like that offer, that thing before, maybe it's better, but I don't really believe the concept in the first place. Whenever you're going to a totally new opportunity, what's going to happen is that they don't have any concept, and all of a sudden they understand, oh, that's not my fault that I wasn't able to make work the previous opportunity. I just gotta take a new thing, and that's going to make the work for me. This is just a thing that was previously using that was not working. Now this new thing, if you're able to convince them enough, this new thing is the right thing I should focus on. So what you should do is that you should find a way that you have a unique angle. Niche down to do that. Going to really understand, going really specific into, like, for example, let's say you are in the car niche and you are going into the relationship aspect. Maybe you can talk about the aspect. Now, I don't know anything about like I'm not selling cars. So the thing is, I'm not going to tell you guys how to do it. But the thing is, maybe you can talk with an aspect of, let's say talking to families, like maybe the cars that are really made for like, how do you call that? Like road trips, like huge road trips. So maybe your thing is like, okay, I'm going to focus my offer, my sales message to people that like to do road trips in family in a car, because they like the aspect of being like with their friends or their family, and they like to do road trips. And then maybe what you can do is craft an offer that's around that topic. And you're like, okay, we're going to give you the best locations, and maybe you target that offer. Now that goes really specific, but if I had to do a campaign with that, I would be like, okay, we're going to run a campaign with people, let's say, okay, the offer is going to be like, if we're going to give you the best destinations for your next road trip, plus the car, plus like the best like things, and you craft that offer, you add a lot of things, but because you're in that niche and nobody's talking with that angle, that positioning, you're able to, like, somebody that's just buying a car for road trip and looking at your offer is like, man, either I'm buying a car for like, I don't know, 50K, or I'm investing on 100K, but I get all those things with that plus the car. And that's a great way you can differentiate yourself from other businesses that are selling the same thing as you do. So that's just, as you can see, that's just not for service-based businesses where you can add info products. You can also add that with an e-commerce business or with a car. Like, Car dealership, same thing here. You can do things like that. So you got to be creative on how you create that offer. But to do that, you got to change your positioning. That's extremely important. Now, that was heavy, and I'm sorry to go so deep in that. I'm sometimes a marketing nerd. I got to, because I got to give you the best tips though. But the thing is, positioning is truly important. And now I'm going to go deep again into how to make a successful webinar, because whenever you are able to get that angle, the positioning right, and then you know, okay, I'm going to position myself that way so I get more interest people. Plus, I'm going to sell to many people, as many people as possible at the same time. That way, I'm going to truly be able to 10x my business. If you're interested, make sure that you stay tuned, because I'm going to share that step-by-step process with you right now. So guys, we're going to go deep into something interesting now. How to make a successful webinar, and how to make sure that you convert, and all the exact steps that you got to do before, during, and after the webinar to make sure that you reach your target, your sales target. So let's get after it. The first thing that you got to do is that you got to, from the get-go, before you're even thinking about running a webinar, you got to position yourself in the blue ocean. What does that mean? You've got core desires. I talked about this previously. Core desires: wealth, health, and relationships. If you are selling, let's say, online marketing, don't just go broad into, oh, this is my offer on online marketing, because a lot of people are already selling on online marketing. This is a red ocean, and you don't want to be selling into a red ocean, because people are already having competition, and that's not good. You are going to really struggle, have difficulties to differentiate yourself from the others. What you should do is you should niche down your offer. That doesn't mean only talking to a smaller amount of people, but having an offer that's really specific, that's going to help steal the batch that you are talking about online marketing, meaning that you got your big online marketing niche right here, and you've got, like, let's say, a really tiny niche where you're talking about a specific subject. And there are people right here that are frustrated because they're not getting the results still. Your job is to grab those people that are in that bigger niche right here and put them into your new opportunity. Because if you're still there trying to get them another solution right here, you know, it's not going to work, because there are other people. But here, you're in a blue ocean, everything is cool. You can just grab them and be like, hey man, new party, new things, you got to come up, because there are really interesting things to see. So you got to talk to them with a new opportunity, something that's new, not an improvement offer like, hey, I'm just going to do better than the other one. Something that's truly different, and that you can dominate your niche, like find the specific thing. Second step that you got to have in order to craft a successful presentation is that you got to create a unique value offer. That kind of like goes back to the idea of having a unique positioning. But the thing is, whenever you got that angle, that specific angle, you got to make sure that your offer is really good. And by really good, I mean extremely good. And I heard that story of a guy that was running extremely great offers. And one of the things that he did was, I think his name was John something. And his offer was to help people to get good at public speaking and making money out of it. And the offer was something along the line of this. It's going to be $20,000. And how it's going to work is that I'm going to make you pay $5,000 first. I'm going to coach you during 5 days to make sure that you learn all the ways you can make money with public speaking and all that. And then I'm going to put you in relationship with all the promoters and other people that make or running events. And from there, we're going to share the profits 50-50. You're going to share 50-50 of your profits to me to pay up the rest, the 15K remaining. And that's a really interesting way to put an offer down. Now, we got a ton of other things, ton of other ways you can craft an incredible offer. But the thing is, you got to make sure that your offer is unique, special, and that it really shows the different angle that you are talking about, and really handles all the problems that your customers may have. One of the keys to craft a great offer is really making sure that it handles all the customer's problems. So let's say that you can like create a product. For example, let's talk about, let's say you got a software that's creating software, for example, I don't know, something along those lines. That's the first thing that came into my mind. One of the things that, you know, what's another problem that my customer is going to have whenever they're creating a software with that? Well, they maybe need to have a way to create content, create creatives, like maybe pages, specific graphics, designs to their softwares. Okay, you can put in another software that's specifically made for that. Oh, but now they gotta understand, okay, how to promote it. So how can they drive traffic to it? And then you can add other offers like that. But the thing is, you gotta make it a no-brainer. You gotta make them feel stupid for not getting your offer. That's the way you should go at it. Third thing that you gotta do. Now we did the homework. Now we gotta go into deeper how to craft that presentation. Whenever you are doing that presentation, there are 3 steps, and those will be the last 3 steps of this process. But you gotta first, whenever you're going to stage, you build a connection, make them build a connection with you. And the way you do that is not by showing all your success stories. Oh, let me show you how good I am. That's not the way you do it. The way you do it is by sharing them how vulnerable you are. Yep. Yeah, exactly. I'm letting a little pause because I want you to understand this. Because guys, you gotta understand something. People don't relate to things they feel like they're not going to be like to connect with. And what I mean by that is that whenever you're able to share stories, to share how you are able to understand your audience, because you went through the same thing, they will be able to see you as the leader, the guide, that already figured out the way out of the problem they're having right now, because you already went through the same thing and found a solution. So they will see you as the guide. But if they only see you as the guy that has a solution, they're like, yeah, he's got a solution, but does he really understand me? Does he really care about me? Or just does he or she just want to sell me something? Whenever you are able to connect with vulnerability, honesty with them, they will be able to show you, to see you as a guide, and they will follow you in your journey to give them the solution, the dream result they want. So you got to build a connection with them first thing first, and all along the presentation. Second thing that you got to do is that you got to craft a presentation that addresses their objections. Now, one-to-many setting is a bit specific because one-on-one, you can address specific objections. You're like, hey, what's the concern? Price is too high. I get it. This is the way I'm going to handle it. Whenever you're talking to a camera or on a stage, you don't have that opportunity to address each and every one of the members of the audience. So how can you do that? Well, one of the things that you got to do is that you got to handle those objections. You got to understand beforehand, okay, what are going to be the objections about my vehicle, the thing I'm selling, the objections about, oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to use it, the objections about themselves, internal objections, and the objections about external things that are going to prevent them to take action, or the factors that may prevent them to get success with your vehicle. You got to understand those 3 categories and really understand, okay, what are the objections that is related to my vehicle? What is the objection that's related to the internal beliefs? What are the objections related to the external beliefs? You got to gather all of them, and you got to handle them on stage during your presentation. And that's going to be the way that you're going to be able to handle those objections and actually make them be like, oh, okay, now I don't have that objection anymore. And then you can go into the next step, which will be to present your offer and close. Now you got to do it in a specific way. Don't be like, yeah, by the way, this is what I sell. Maybe you can check it out. Nah, you got to really build up that value, build up an offer, something that's extremely sexy to show them, hey, don't miss that opportunity. You gotta not miss that opportunity, because it's really going to be like something that's perfectly tailored for you. As I just handled your objections, here is a perfect solution for the problem that you're having right now, that I know you're having, and that I'm the one that can solve that problem for you. And you got to really build up that value. The key is building up value, showing them all the things they get for the all the value they get for the price they're getting, which means like big value they get it at a little price. And it has to really be a unique offer, like something with a unique angle, something that's unique. They're like, man, I never saw something like this. That's the way you're going to make crazy money. By the way, guys, if you want to apply this as fast as possible in your business, make sure you check out the Commandos weekly action plan. I generate new frameworks weekly, which means like right now, the framework on how to create a webinar, I'm going to put that in detail on a one-pager, something that you will be able to apply step by step. It's totally free and is going to help you to apply what we're talking about today. So go ahead and go to gabrieljulié.com/action plan to get your free weekly action plan. Did you guys like what I just shared with you? If so, stay tuned, because we still got something to talk about. That's extremely important. Things that we gotta remember after this live episode. Quick sip of water, and we're back into the game. Secrets number one that you gotta understand. Takeaway number one. The secret to 10x business is one-to-many selling. You can focus your time on selling one-on-one, but in the time of 2-3 presentations, you may be able to talk to thousands of people at the same time and close all the sales. So you really have to open your mindset to adding some one-to-many ways to make sales in your business. That's extremely important. Number two, your positioning is more important than you think. Positioning is extremely important. The way you say that you are different and the way you show that you are not competing with somebody trying to get better than them or to lower the prices, the way you are able to differentiate yourself from the pack is actually going like, okay, fuck you, I'm going to go into a whole other niche and show how my new thing is way better than your old ass thing that you were doing before. I'm not competing with you, I'm just new and way better. That's the way you should talk, the way you should position yourself compared to your competitors. Third thing that you gotta do, third thing that we have to remember, at least for today's episode, is to shift your business from a transactional to a movement-based business. That's extremely important, meaning that whenever you are able to really dive deep in and create a movement-based business instead of just making transactions, you're able to create customers that will buy from you again and again and again and again, and that will really be able to grow tremendously, because whenever you stop going into the transaction phase, the sales are going to stop, unless you really focus on creating a movement that's going to be alive forever, and that people are going to be behind the cause and are going to promote it for you. So switch from a transactional business to a movement-based business. Guys, before you leave, make sure that you check out today's weekly action plan at gabrieljulé.com/action plan to make sure that you apply what we just talked about today. So go ahead, gabrieljulé.com/action plan. Guys, that's it for this week. If you guys like the episode, make sure that you share it. Make sure that you talk to somebody that needs to see this. Share the Clubhouse room. Share the live stream on YouTube as well. And I see you on the next episode.